Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Southern Dirt. My name is Summer, and if you are just now joining me on my channel, I wanted to welcome you. We have over 1,100 square feet of gardening space. We also have a food forest, we have animals, and I love sharing my journey along the way. I've been doing this for 10 years now, and I absolutely love what I do out here on our farm and garden. And today I'll be walking you through our Central Florida Zone 9 food forest. Some people may call it an orchard. I call it a food forest. It could be either or. But we got a lot of fruit trees. We have over 125 fruiting trees on our property. And I'm also going to show you some of the wild bushes and trees that are fruiting right now as well. I also wanted to let you know that I filmed this about 2 months ago and never got around to posting it. So we're a little bit behind on our food forest. We do have lots of mangoes right now that I can't wait to share with you on a future video. So I'm going to try to keep up with these food forest videos for you. Please let me know if there's anything specific you want to see more of, and I'll be working on, of course, my monthly garden tour that I'll have out for you guys soon. So here are my mulberry trees that I propagated 5 years ago, and they are just full of mulberries. I have to show you up in here. We have been harvesting tons of mulberries. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Look at them all. We have just had so much fun coming out here with the family, invited friends over to pick them. They're everywhere. And I didn't pay a penny for these. I propagated these from one mother plant that we had. I have 37 mulberry plants out here. We had such a success this year that the girls and I are talking about turning in our vineyard, which is over here, into all mulberries as well. So we could have like a U-pick, or we could sell little baskets at the end of the road as a little homeschool project. But we have not been very successful with our vineyard, and it's a lot of work. So we have grapes growing wild on our property, and we always enjoyed seeing grapevines and wanted this dreamy vineyard, but it's just been a real struggle. So these trees are extremely easy to propagate. They're the first things I ever propagated. And I used to sell cuttings on my website, but when I decided to homeschool my children, I kind of needed to cut back on some things so I could delegate that time to them. And typically we cut these back twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year. And when we do that and we have time, we might sell some of our cuttings. So make sure that you are signed up for our newsletter and you are following me on Instagram. Typically I do quick sales. I also share any of the products that I promote, any sales that they have going on. Look at this. Oh, so good. And so make sure you are signed up for newsletters. So here is my olive tree. I've had this maybe a couple years now, and I've yet to get any flowers or any fruit. So if anybody knows any tips on caring for olives, let me know. I have made some olive leaf tea from this tree. I was having a lot of congestion and allergies this spring, and I've been making a lot of tea with that, and it definitely helps. And our vineyard right now is just starting to bud. Like I said, it's been a struggle with this vineyard, but we do have some vines that are pretty decent down here that have started growing tall enough to start vining up, like this one here. We do have some orange trees that my husband transplanted here on our property. He had a company that needed him to mow down some trees and remove the stumps, and there were some trees that were really healthy that he decided to bring home. And look at, we have some flowers that are coming out, and here is a lemon, a Myers lemon that we have, and it's starting to flower. Look at that. Here's my moringa tree. We are just starting to get some new leaves and flowers. Here's my seed pods. I have another moringa, actually 3 moringas down at the end there. Here's our first mulberry tree. It's actually one of our first fruit trees on our property. This tree actually inspired me to grow our food forest, because when my 2 youngest ones or oldest ones were in diapers, we would come out here and pick mulberries, and it brought them so much joy, and it was so neat to just experience that. One tree was not enough because the birds would pretty much take them all before we could get them most of the time. So that's when I decided to propagate the mulberry orchard over there. And it has been such a success 5 years later, and we have tons of trees on our property. Over here is another variety of mulberries that I traded a friend for some other fruit trees for, and I don't know the variety, but it is supposed to be a bigger mulberry. So I just put that in the ground. And a pro tip on planting your trees: make sure your trees are tall enough to where the deer cannot eat the tops of them. I made that mistake with several of my trees in the orchard over here, and I could not get them to grow tall. So make sure you plant them high enough. You might get the deer eating the sides of the leaves, but as long as it can't get the top to keep gnawing it down. Over here, this is new. I probably planted this after my last video I posted. This is a Mexican sunflower. And if you don't know already, this is a natural fertilizer. You can do a chop and drop method. We actually just trimmed these back. They were crazy tall. They were probably 3 times the height they were now. They're these beautiful sunflowers, and the deer, you can tell, have been eating the sides of them, but it's okay because it's actually flushing plenty more leaves. I can easily chop all those, throw them under all my fruit trees, and I have fertilizer for life, basically. I wanted to pop in and share with you the GreenStalk vertical garden. I am an affiliate of this product, and I absolutely love them. I am on my 3rd year using them, and we have 9 of them in our backyard garden. And right now you can save $10 off your order with a coupon code SD10. Over here is a mango tree. This is a tree that we have yet to get any fruit on. It's probably a 5-year tree that we've had in our food forest. Over here I have a spineless cactus, and if you don't know about these, you can use the paddles and cut them up and put them in water and make cactus water. It's really good. There's all kinds of benefits for this. My sweet Costa Rican friends brought this over. She also showed me how to cut it up and make tacos with it. So you could do all kinds of things with this. It's so nice though. It's spineless, so it's easier to work with. Over here is that same variety of mulberry that I showed you a minute ago. And these are supposed to be much bigger than my everberry mulberries that I have. So we just put those in. Those are new. And here is a Barbados cherry tree. And I don't have any blooms quite yet, but when it blooms, it's so beautiful. So make sure that you're following my Instagram page, SouthernDirtGardener, to see future photos of this and kids and I picking tons of Barbados cherries. It's so fun. Now this tree is very special to me. This is an avocado tree that my father planted, basically from seed. He started in his home. My father has been gone for 10 years now, and he gave this tree to me. It was just a tiny little thing right before he passed. And at that point, I really wasn't into gardening. And part of the reason I actually started to get into gardening is because of him, and just dealing with grief and looking for something to get me out of the house. I just had my 2nd child, or actually I was expecting my 2nd child, and I was looking for a better way to feed my family and kind of get myself out of the house. But this tree is flowering right now. This is the 2nd time it flowered, and I am praying that I get fruit. Now some people say you need 2 trees in order for them to fruit. My neighbor does have a tree, but I don't think their tree's flowering right now. And I've heard that they're self-pollinating, so I really don't know what seed he started. And if anybody can identify this and tell me if it's a Haas or if it's a Florida avocado, that would be awesome. I'm really excited to see this fruit. I've had it for so long, and I'm really excited to see that. Over here we have some guava trees. We plan on actually cutting them back. They do have some fungus on them. So what I plan on doing is, and typically we get this almost every year, this black fungus on it. I don't really know what it's called, but whenever we trim it back, typically the ladybugs come in and save the day. They start laying their eggs and the ladybugs fix the problem, but I don't see any this year, so I'm gonna probably spray this heavy with neem oil. Over here is our mango tree. This will be probably the third year we've gotten fruit, but look at all of the flowers on this one. This is more of a wild mango. Look at all those buds. And you can start to see little mangoes showing up, tiny little balls. So I'm super excited about this because it looks like we're gonna have more fruit than we've ever had in our life out here. And these mangoes are a little bit more stringy, so we typically make juice out of these. And here is my other guava tree. This is a smaller guava, and again, it is a little sick with this black stuff on it. And again, we're gonna trim these back, spray them heavy with neem. And here is another mango. We've probably had this 7 or 8 years. It has flowered a couple times, and 1 year it flowered, and then we got a freeze and it dropped all of its flowers. So this year we're like in the clear, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna get all kinds of fruit. It looks pretty healthy, and I have no clue what variety this is. Over here we have our loquat tree, and this tree has given us so much fruit. It just actually stopped fruiting, so we had buckets and buckets of loquats. So much fun. The kids climb up in here and grab them. I also have tons of pineapple plants that are planted all throughout our food forest. And you can see I've got a little pineapple showing up right there. I also have wild muscadines all along this fence that I did not plant. They're all wild. We also have wild blackberries that grow throughout this fence and onto the other property. That's actually a loquat that started from a seed from this tree. Right over there, there's another one on the other side of the fence. Some more pineapples. We had a really hard freeze last year, and it really pushed these back. Ooh, look at this one. It's beautiful. Over here is another mango. This is kind of newer to our property. I would say probably 2 years, 2 or 3 years. And it has yet to produce any fruit, but we're looking forward to that. And I have a puny fig here. I have propagated this fig. For some reason, it just doesn't do well over here. It doesn't get any bigger than this. But all the fig plants I've propagated from here and put in pots have done pretty well. I think it's just a dwarf variety I bought on clearance, and I'd really like to have a regular size one. So if anybody wants to trade me some cuttings and you have a great fig tree, let me know. I figured I'd go ahead to show you guys the wild muscadines growing here. They're usually ready to pick in August, and they're so yummy. So we have about 50 blueberry plants that go around our garden here. We have 1,100 square feet back here. We grow all kinds of vegetables and flowers. But I thought I'd pop in and show you how beautiful these blueberries are doing. Here, we probably have more blueberries than we've ever had. The conditions here in Florida, early spring, have been just right. So we are going to head into the back property and show you some wild fruits that are growing. So here's one of the wild blueberries that are already setting fruit. This is actually the first one I discovered, You can usually find them in areas that are really wet. I just found one that has a ton of blueberries on it. Look at this. I have done nothing to these. They are just growing wild back here. I hope y'all can see that. Look at that. So now's the time, if you are traveling anywhere, to look for these. And they just kind of look like this, randomly, all over the place. So we are at our banana forest. This is 2 properties away from our property that my husband and I store things on, and will be a future tiny home when our kids are moved away. But here is a set of bananas. These were here on the property when we bought it. These leaves are wonderful for chop and drop. We don't do anything with these banana trees here. They all just take care of themselves. They're in a mucky area. And we've got all kinds of bananas, different places in here. So you can see, there's a tiny one coming up. And here's one that's actually ready. You can see that one is yellow, and you can see that it's opened. The squirrel has already found it. So what we do is, as soon as we start to see one yellowing, or they start to kind of get these brown lines on the sides. I don't know if you can see that. Those little brown lines is when we'll harvest the whole batch and bring them home and just let them ripe on the counter. We also planted a papaya in the middle of these trees because we had papayas on our property, and they would just freeze back every year. We'd get a freeze. It was really difficult. So I figured this canopy would help protect it in a freeze, and I plan on putting some more throughout here this season. So here are some of our wild blackberries. As you can see, little berry starting. These are the flowers. And right now they are everywhere on our property. Again, just like all of our wild blueberries and everything else, there are more blooms that are on our property than ever before. Same with our blackberries. So forgot to show you guys, this is my African blue basil. This is an amazing plant for pollinators. As you can see, there are just bees everywhere. I have this plant in my garden, but I wanted to also include it in our food forest. So we have these different areas around our food forest. This one is out by the vineyard, and we also have some back mixed in between our fruit trees. Here's all of our wild elderberry trees. They line around our property. They're in our property, but this is probably the most concentrated area that we have of them. And they're all in their flowering stage. We've got a few bunches that the birds have been helping themselves to, and we've been able to make some elderberry juice with them. Thank you guys so much for watching till the end of my video. I hope this has inspired you. I hope you have learned something along the way. If there are any tips that you have for me and you see something in my food forest or garden that you think I can do better, please don't keep them to yourself. There's a huge gardening community too that could benefit from your tips. So if you have anything that you want to ask me, or you have anything you want to share, please drop them in the comment section below. And I appreciate all your support, sharing these videos. That helps my channel grow. And also, anytime you purchase anything through my affiliate links, which are all in the description below, those are all the products that I have sought out and I personally love, and gives you a discount code, and then I make a small commission to continue to invest back into my garden and do what I absolutely love. So I just want to thank you guys again for coming along with me all these years, and if there's anything that you want to see, please let me know.